within a triangle that is not right angled. So as you can see in this page over here, just look at the questions. You realize that for each and every triangle that has been drawn, it is not right angled. And if it's not right angled, we cannot use Tuakaso. So we have to revert to sine and cosine rule. Now, what is sine rule and what is cosine rule? So allow me to share with you certain things we need to take note of in order to use sine rule, and the certain things we need to take note of in order to use cosine rule. So sine rule, we have the formula. We have the formula that is given to us, sine A out of A equals to sine B out of B. Now you might be wondering, what is this uppercase A and lowercase a all about, and are they the same thing? Okay, and similarly for uppercase B and lowercase b. Now let's just take note of uppercase A and lowercase a first. You realize that the only difference between both A's is one's upper and one's lowercase. So this refers to the angle, one of the angles within the triangle, and the corresponding side. Okay. Let me share using example 72a what exactly a corresponding angle and length is. So let's have a look at one of the angles that are given. So we have 56 degrees. That's angle ABC. Now the corresponding angle to it is the angle that is directly opposite to it. Okay. Do we have another pair of corresponding angles and sides? Well, we have 38 degrees. And the corresponding side to it is opposite of it, which is x centimeters. So we can call this A, uppercase and lowercase. And the other pair of values, uppercase B, lowercase b. When do we use sine rule? We only use sine rule when two conditions are met. Firstly, it is not a right angled triangle. Secondly, you have corresponding sides and angles given. So let's put these values into the calculator and we try to find them. So formula says sine A, right? So we have sine 56 degrees out of 8 equals to sine 38 degrees out of x. How do we solve? We use our favorite method, our all-time favorite, cross multiplication. So we will have x sine 56 degrees equals to 8 sine 38. We're almost there. In order to find x, we don't need sine 56 degrees on the left. Let's bring it to the right. And we all know that when we bring it to the right, it will be the reverse of the sign that we see on the left. So between x and sine 56, they are multiplied by each other, right? When we bring it over, it will be division then. So we have 8 sine 38 degrees out of sine 56 degrees. Okay, from there, we can find the value of x. Let's move on to the next few questions. In the meantime, you can do questions B, C, and D. Let's have a look at question E. And this is the question where they expect you to find the angle instead of the length. First and foremost, let's see whether there are corresponding lengths and angles. So we have a 5 cm. And we have a 32 degrees. Okay, this looks like it's corresponding. So you can see that we have theta as well as 9. Okay, not to worry about theta being an unknown. That will be our second pair of corresponding values, which means that this will be uppercase B and 9 will be lowercase b. Okay. Now from there, let's use the formula. So sine A over A, all right. That means it's sine 32 degrees over 5 equals to sine theta over 9. Use our favorite method. Let's cross multiply. Next, we do not need our 5 on the left. Let's bring it over through division. Oops. Pardon me. All right, so at this point, you realize we can find our angle. We have two ways to go about. One way is let's work out this value over here, but we know that we might end up with a number that's running. We might not be too willing to do so. If you do not want to do so, you want to keep it very neat and exact, what we could possibly do is to actually find theta, and we bring the sine function over, and in doing so, sine becomes sine inverse. So sine inverse of the entire expression of 9 sine 32 degrees over 5, right? That will actually give us our angle theta. (72.52 degrees). Now let's be very careful to look back at the diagram. In this diagram, we realize that theta is not acute. It is obtuse. So when we have sine of something, of an angle being positive, it can be acute or obtuse. So in this case, since it's obtuse, we have to reject the acute version of the angle, and we have to find the obtuse. Round off to 1 dp. Pardon me, this is 0.48. Do attempt question F as well. Now, G is similar. Let's move on to H.